Mr. Mark Parham.
Awesome.
I'm gonna let you do the introduction on Mr. Saboor. It's way too much work.
Yeah,
I'm gonna try to.
We all gotta get out and do this. My name is Mark Parham. I'm here with these young men tonight. Tonight we're going to talk about raising money for your business. You know, I was home a couple weeks ago and I have an 18-year-old niece. So I tried to talk in her vernacular. And I said, try to make them money moves. Okay. But I think that's what's important now. A lot of us we start businesses, but we really don't think ahead to find out what we have to do to raise money for that business. There's no way you're really going to grow that business without making money. You know, so the three things to getting money for your business. And a lot of times people forget this. We're going to talk about this tonight. One, you have to tell your personal story. You're the owner. Who are you? We're going to talk about how important that is and the effect of what social media has done to you telling that story. Your business has to tell a great story. And then finally, you have to tell a great financial story. And with that said, I want to invite Mr. Lonnie Saboor up right now. Come on. Lonnie's with Invest Atlanta, and they do a lot of lending in the marketplace. And so tonight we're going to have a discussion about raising money for your business. Y'all ready?
Yes.
Everybody have a seat? But before we get started, you got to sit down. Before we get started, well, sit down. I want to ask you, from the audience, what are some of the issues that you see today with getting money for your business? What are some of the things that you run up against? I'll just shout out that one.
Finding sources for money.
Finding sources.
Yeah.
Okay. What else?
Forge relationships.
Relationships.
Yeah.
Investors. That whole investment thing is, Shark Tank is kind of ruined the whole investment thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody thinks that you can just get on Shark Tank and get that money.
I think understanding the process.
The process.
The process.
Yeah.
If we do it, we do it.
It's a mystery. The whole process is a mystery. That's why we got this guy here today who explains that process. But we don't really realize one thing about that process. The process starts long before you actually go ask for the money.
Yes.
It starts a long time before that. We're going to talk about that tonight. What else? What other issues do we have when we're trying to find money? We got to have more than this. Otherwise, all y'all be paid. We wouldn't be in here tonight.
I would say budgeting and forecasting.
Budgeting and forecasting. How do you do your projections? A lot of times, one of the things that I work with at the Urban League, I help people do projections because it just escapes them. How do I project what I'm going to do? How do I figure out what my true expenses is? How do I tell a good funding story? Okay? Give me a couple more and we'll sit down and get this conversation. What I'm trying to do is get from you what are the issues that you're dealing with to make sure through our discussion tonight we touch on those issues.
I think maybe just having all your ducks in a row, having all the paperwork and the necessary information to justify getting that loan.
I like to say I do a workshop on how to tell your funding story. And the last slide I have on there is, would you fund you? Okay? If you came and pitched to yourself about getting funded, would you actually fund yourself? And that's a very important, people laugh at this, and that's pretty funny, but it's very serious.
Absolutely.
If you wouldn't fund yourself, why would you expect this guy here to fund you? So you got to tell a story that you would appreciate, so that if you wouldn't fund yourself, why would you ask anybody else to fund you? So we're going to talk about that tonight. All right? We together?
Yes.
All right. So the first topic, and I'm going to start with these guys here, and I talked about who you are as a business owner. The market has kind of changed because before Facebook and Instagram, nobody really could tell who you were. But now because of these social media things, a lot of us are out there as business owners on social media are not aware that it's being used to judge our character. Okay, so if you don't have a handle on your social media presence and how you utilize social media to tell your personal story, you may be getting denied funding not based on your paperwork, based on how you appear online. So I want to first start out with questions to the Influencer 365, that's what y'all do, to talk about the importance of your personal brand on the internet and how do you control it, you know, because once it's out there, it's out there.
That's right.
Okay, so let's talk about that for a minute, you know, how important is that brand and what do you do with the brand?
It's really about nowadays in social media. Social media has given us an opportunity like never before. Now we have the ability to connect with everybody in the world. We seriously do. We can do that through Facebook, we can do it through Instagram, LinkedIn. I mean, you name the network. It's people there that we can connect with. We can tell more about us. We can tell more about our business. We can tell more about what we do, who we are. But the key is, what story are we telling? Are we just randomly putting out photos of, hey, I'm in the club, hey, I'm out here on the street, or, you know, it's about, as a business owner and about being a business, you have to be able to tell a story about, this is what I do, this is who I am as a business owner. And we've learned how, we've started curating profiles for a lot of these businesses that we work with. Not only do we deal with the actual brand or the business, we have to deal with the business owner because he's a big part of that. He's a big selling factor in that business. Or she, which most of the businesses now are ran by women in Atlanta, I think. What was the statistic we looked at? No, but seriously, you really have to protect that brand. You have to look at the type of things that you're posting out in social media. And you want to make sure that the images and the statements and the quotes that we're putting out are pertinent to what we do on a daily basis, and that we're documenting what we do on a daily basis and highlighting our business and highlighting our skills and what we're doing.
So, Brian, is there a strategy to it, or do I just make sure I put out good stuff?
Yeah, there's definitely a strategy to it. The good thing about social media is that what it shows that I walk it like I talk it. That's what it is at the end of the day. And so the strategy is that it's about documentation as a strategy. Document. It's not necessarily about staging things or making sure that everything looks. So there's a time and place for that as well. But true engagement through social comes from documentation. So when you are in your business meetings, are you recording those meetings? Are you taking pictures in those meetings? Are you highlighting some of the customers that you're working with? Are you spreading more information? So are you developing content on your own? That's a big way to create some type of engagement with people, is by giving away some advice that people can take with them. And it also helps you build credibility as well.
So how many of you out here Google yourself?
Yep, absolutely.
How many of you like what you see?
Yeah, absolutely.
How many of you purposely control what people see?
Absolutely.
So how do you do that?
Well, one way I do it myself is, if someone's friending me, and I don't really look at them, but I look at the associates. I've seen some that had good stuff, but I went to the next level and looked at the people around me and some of the things they said, and I had to deny them because of some of the friend associates they had.
Right. Anybody else? How are you controlling your content?
I curate it, just
You
like
curate.
you curate an art show. I'm very purposeful, and I know where my line is. I don't put, what I'm eating, where my dog and my family.
Okay.
It's like, this is what I want. This is what I want you to know.
You gonna do that eating crab legs?
No. Sitting with a big chicken wing, on Facebook. You're not gonna see that, because there's an image that I want to project, and I know, like a Kardashian. Once you cross that line, once you ring a bell, you cannot believe
Yeah,
it.
because guess what? You can't take it down.
Yeah.
Once it's out there, it's out there. So, and I think it's very important that you create a strategy to do it. And a lot of times, we're good at what we do as business owners, but if we don't understand how to create a strategy, that's the importance of coming to, people like these guys here to help you really curate. I like that word, curate, okay, because it really helps us put out the right image that we want of ourselves. And I like what he was saying, you're guilty by association.
Yeah.
You can't, a lot of people just want, I want as many friends as I can. Click, 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 click. I do exactly what you do. I go look at them, I look at their friends, and then I let them in. But the minute I see something posted that's not according to my value, boom, we're done.
Yeah.
I've lost friends over that. Because they can tell they've been unfriended. And I told them, I don't like what you put out, cussing or just the kind of content they're putting out is not representative of who you are. So when you start, well, I need to ask Lonnie a question. Isn't it important, when you look at a business owner and you think about lending them money, is their character important?
Well, to me, character is very important. In the kind of financial world, character represents your ability for that particular lender to have confidence in you as an individual. And so sometimes people say, well, I got R9, R8, I'm not too worried about it. But when you have those R9, R8s on your credit report, it reflects a certain type of mindset. And I remember back, one of the things about my workshop I give to people come to my office is that I tell them the first thing we look for in terms of your situation is your current credit. Is your existing credit current? Which means everything should be R1. Now, because of these 7 years.
Playing on the term.
Oh, okay. So
vernacular.
Yeah, so R1 means you got an account and it's current. In other words, it's due within 30 days, it's paid within 30 days. Those are R1s. If you missed a month, that would be R2, missed another month, that would be R3. If you have missed 5 or 6 or 8 months, it's probably R9s, then we written down. Okay. And so what you want to do is that you want to make sure when you make an application with us is that everything you have should be current. Now, unlike the banks, we don't just stop there. And so we know if you got some stuff maybe 2 months ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, in the history of that credit report that reflects some serious delinquency, we actually give us a memorandum that explains what happened. We factor in maybe you were working somewhere, you got laid off, you got for a while, maybe you had some illnesses going on, maybe you went through a divorce. It could be a number of things that factor in. So we look at the holistic picture. And I would also say this up front, Mark, is that in the last year and a half, we've not denied any application. Now, you said, Lonnie, well, wow, you go there and apply for your program. We haven't, but we haven't denied anybody because we go through a process of educating you, of looking at your situation, knowing what we need to have, what you need to have in place for us to take it to our credit committee to get it approved. And we don't even accept an application unless we know we have a checkoff list of 24 items. First of all, let me see, checkoff list of 24 items. It's about maybe 30 people in the room today. So I give these workshops. 30 people, it's 50 people, 60 people show up. I tell them point blank, I said, well, first of all, you'll break the record if 4 of you guys actually submit an application. The majority of people that I talk to, they don't pass the first test of submitting an application. Now, when you decide to submit your application, I said, I don't want you to email it, I don't want you to fax it. I don't want you to mail it in. I don't need you to even drop it off unless you're going to make an appointment for myself or my sister to sit down with you and look through every single line item you submit to us in the application. And we go through each one of those items. And I know it's what I need. If you're missing some stuff, we give it back to you. So I don't take the application you're missing a 2-year financial projection, you miss the first financial statement, you miss the tax return, and then when I take it like that, it's like you call me online, I'm looking. Now I'm looking and you're still missing stuff. So we start kill that in the beginning, all right? And so if you go through that test, I know that pretty much I got everything I need to work with you. Now, how I look at debt financing, I call it debt equity. We got some equity investors in the room today. And so as an equity injection, you look for certain qualities in an applicant, conversation, what you got, history, that kind of thing. But you make an investment of your own money into it. Although our money is going to be debt financing, that's the spirit that we have. Okay, we look at you, we talk to you, look at your business plan, look at you, and we analyze the situation. And so, if we believe that you can be successful, and I only believe in really taking applications to my credit review committee that I think can make a difference, you know, that we can help out, and really make you put you in a position to be able to be successful. But it begins with you putting your own self in a position to be successful. That's why that 24 list item we got is important, because some people, I tell people, wait, listen, this is a sheet of paper, 24 items on it. I said, 95% of y'all are gonna let this piece of paper stop you from reaching your goals and your dreams. And I tear it up. And I said, you're gonna let a little sheet of paper like that stand and block you from reaching your goals and your objections and your directions with your life. You know? So that to me is the first test that people have to deal with. Getting the information on the list together, correcting stuff. If you know you got bad credit, get it fixed. Come back. You know you got some things outstanding. You know, if you know, I tell you that, well, and you got a team together, nobody in the team has experience in the industry. All right? Reach out, bring some other partners in, you know, that kind of thing. So you put us in a much stronger position as presented to our committee to get that application approved. That's why in the last year and a half, we haven't had any applications declined because of the presentation that went into it by you. So it's really not me that's really getting approved. It's you doing what you need to do to show us that you have the capacity to make it successful, you know, and work with you like that. So I think it's all character is a very important part of the back you question.
But the fact of the matter is, though, once again, is how well do you tell your own funding story?
Right.
You know, you tell it through your, you know, we were talking earlier about websites. How important are the websites? A company website.
The website is everything. And don't get me wrong, in this day and age, social media is important, content placement is important, but the website is where you really get a chance to get someone's full attention. And once we get you on the website, we want to make sure that website is engaging. We want to make sure that the proper information there that tells us about your business, that highlights your services and what you're doing, and tells us about the character of the business. And then through that, we want to extend that brand and extend that presence online through social media, telling that same story, through other content outlets. We want to be able to tell that same story. So the website is crucial to any business nowadays, because you need to have that online presence, and that online presence has to really stand strong for your business.
You know, one of the things I want to tell people too, they always talk about going to the bank and getting investors, going to investment people, but your first investors are your customers. These are people investing, they're giving money to you for your products and services, but you want them to continue to do that. So you have to be presentable to them, but we sometimes forget our first true investors are our customers. You know, so you have to make them, their experience when they go to your website, do they see what's going to make them want to invest? I mean, we have a choice of how we spend our money, especially today. I mean, you know, you can spend it anywhere. You know, you can buy a hamburger, a regular hamburger, you get one with avocado in it, you know, but you got to convince people to at least try it. So I think the website. What about, you know, people put their websites out here, but how do they tell how effective their websites are?
Oh, well, there's a lot of different analytical tools that you can use. I mean, the most the famous one is Google Analytics. It's a free analytical tool that you can get from Google that you can embed into your website, and it will track pretty much every measure you can think about. And what you want to look for on the back end of that is just how engaging is your website. So when people are coming to your website, when they're getting there, how long are they staying there? Are they going to different pages? If you have products, are they going into these pages to actually purchase products? So how many people are going from like homepage to, or becoming a lead to becoming a sale, right? So those are going to be very important tools. And if you don't know the numbers, you know, we can always get somebody that understands the numbers. Everybody's okay with being sold to, but it's how you sell to them at the end of the day. And that's what Kevin was talking about with an engaging website and making sure that you're giving the person, giving the customer some type of value, if they see some type of value into your product, into your service, that is what's going to convert them into sales, and that's what successful businesses need. Before you go to a VC or a hedge fund, it's very important that you really work on making sure that you have a good proof of concept of saying I can actually get customers. I think that's very important. That's the best, one of the best sources of just getting funding, because even those customers that you get, even you have products and you say you have a lot of purchase orders, that can then be your power to fund it. People will actually give you money for those orders that you need to fill.
And then, just to jump in real quick, we also have heat mapping software now. So we can actually employ a heat map on the website, so we can tell where people are scrolling to, what they're clicking on. We can actually record live visits, so we get to see how your customers are actually coming to the website. We get to see how they're using it. And by using this tool, we're able to redesign your website to make it a lot more effective. Because a lot of what we've seen is people like these long one-page websites, but typically people will scroll maybe halfway down. And if I hadn't seen what I'm looking for, I don't understand what you're doing, I hadn't seen interesting pictures by this point, then I'm pretty much gone. Because people's attention span is really not that long. So what we want to do and how we use the software that we have is we employ it on a person's website for at least 30 days. And now we can look and we can see what your visitors are doing, we can see what the traffic looks like. I can see exactly how far they scroll down the page. I know exactly where to put your advertisements. I know where to put the lead capture software and everything to make your website more effective. And that's kind of how we do it.
So how many people here feel that their websites are doing the job they wanted to do? Everybody, all at once now. I mean, and
how many people have websites? Okay.
But so I asked that question, why don't you think it's doing the job? And just kind of conversation, what do you think is wrong with it? SEO. Anyone else?
Not engaging enough.
Not engaging enough.
Doesn't tell enough of the story.
Are you managing your own sites?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I asked that question because a lot of times, from coaching people and stuff like that, I say, well, who's managing your site? I'm doing it. That's me. Oh, where'd you learn how? YouTube. And my thing is, and I try to really get across to people, do what you do well. Okay? But if you're leaving your website in your own hands and you're not a professional, it's not going to come across as a professional website. But it's so critical to the success of your business, sometimes you have to step back and say, I'm not that good at this, so let me get a professional to do it. But now, with the advent of, there's a lot of website tools now, Google Central, GoDaddy Central and Wix, I can do it myself. You get on, you create your website, you put it out there, but you don't have any metrics, you don't know how many people are hitting it, you don't know how successful it is. But all that goes into me getting your business funded. I spoke last year, I spoke to diversity officers from some of the major corporations, Boeing, even Disney was in the room, Coca-Cola, at this conference. And they make a decision sometimes based on the website. One of the things they do, and I want to just touch on this, and we'll get back to the funding in a second, but if your website is not secure, these corporations are worried about you creating a hole to sneak into their website. Mm-hmm. So they look at your website, if it's not secure and it doesn't look secure, you maybe bet on something, your numbers look good. Matter of fact, IBM, you don't even get past, the first thing they do is check the security of your website. You may have the greatest bid, the best numbers, the best product and services, but if you don't pass that first test, your bid gets kicked out. But they don't tell you that. Okay, but that's how important this technology is with websites. So just for a few minutes, this whole security thing, and he put that bad word up there, the SEO word, because people it's so funny, this SEO, you see some people, we'll take care of it for you, just give us $5,000 when we got you. But let's talk about that for a second, and then I want to get back to this whole funding story.
What's SEO?
Yeah, right, exactly. Explain it.
When we start talking about SEO, we're talking about search engine optimization. So the way I like to explain it is this. Say you're looking for cookies. Well, the internet says, I know there's cookies, and I know there's internet cookies. What type of cookies do you want? So what we do through search engine optimization is explain to the robots and explain to the search engines exactly what this website is about. Now, you might be talking about, I want some chocolate chip cookies. Well, we need to tell the search engine that we have chocolate chip cookies on this website. You might be looking for a bakery, or you could be looking for somebody to ship them to you. We never know. But by doing the proper SEO tactics, and there's a lot that goes into it, trust me. We can sit down and have a whole discussion about that. But the simplest form is, basically what we do is we explain to the robots and we explain to the search engine through different metadata tactics, through different things on the back end of the website that explains to the search engine, this is exactly what my website is about. So when somebody comes on and say, hey, I'm looking for a bakery that cooks chocolate chip cookies, then we can make your website pull up first, because we know that this is a bakery and we sell chocolate chip cookies and we bake them fresh every single day. And we can tell all that information to the search engine versus just blankly saying, hey, this website is about cookies and nobody knows what that means. And that's a very, very basic watered down discussion about it. And if anybody needs SEO services, we do provide.
Who do they call?
770-870-8806, because it's on Facebook Live.
All right, so let's get back. But I wanted to talk about all that because your presence on the internet, your character, all this stuff matters. But say you got a good website, you got good character, you're out in the community, feeding rabbits or doing whatever you do to make people feel you have good character. Now you come to see this gentleman here, or any lender. What are you looking for? I mean, I know you went through what you were talking about earlier, but he was talking about earlier getting your paperwork in order. What paperwork do I need to have in order?
So the first thing we're looking for is trying to understand your vision. If you're starting a new business, you want to understand what your vision is. And then we're looking for some type of at least basic experience in the industry. Because the thing that put a lot of businesses out of business real quick are what I call the learning curve. And so the learning curve is basic things that, let's say you're working in a company that you want to actually go into yourself in terms of that particular industry. Now the company's paying you to do a particular job within the company. All right? But if you have an idea about you want to go into the same type of industry that this company that you're working for is in, then while that company is paying you for that job, you want to use what I call the sponge technique. And the sponge technique is saying that you want to learn as much as you possibly can about the inner workings of this company. And they hire you to do a particular task. You want to have an understanding about the HR department, the marketing department, the finance department, who's supplying this company with XYZ products that you're using, that kind of thing. So this is a way for you to, while somebody's paying you a salary, you to learn certain things that you should know and you're ready to leave that position with that company, start your own company. So a lot of people don't even think about that. They think about, I want to go into my own company, but I got this 9 to 5 and working here. And they don't get the synergy about the environment. So you leave the company and you start to learn some things. But learning at that point is a cost factor to you. Because the longer it takes you to learn, I could have went over here to XYZ company because my cost of goods sold down about 15%. So you'd have known that before you left your other company and started your own business to save that money. The detriment is that a lot of people, when they start their own company, they put their own money in it, of course, and the learning curve can eat up all of your resources and money. So now you know what you should do, but your company is closed. You got to work with somebody else now. You see what I'm saying? So I think that's part of what we look at. Now, the paperwork, if you're looking at trying to, how many people are already in business? Already have a business. Okay, how many people trying to start a new business? Now, some people don't reach that time. And didn't rise their hand at all either way. Or maybe you don't want to start a business. You just got to get the information out. There's nothing wrong with that. That's all part of the learning curve at the same time. You know, but so the paperwork is the same paperwork basically. If you go into me, if you go into a bank, if you go into some investors, basically, if you're already in business, they want to see what is your track record. You know, I think everybody is probably familiar with Shark Tank, right? Mm-hmm. So now what you see when you see Shark Tank on TV, you've already gotten a lot of stuff. You just see the icing. That's where they can look at stuff and make a decision in 10, 15 minutes, all right? But you start with all the paperwork. So what we're looking for, you're an existing company, and you're trying to get some financing to expand some equipment, move to new location, renovation, that kind of thing. So the first thing that the lender will look for is the historical financial statements. Do you have sufficient cash flow already to cover the new debt service? I'll give you an example. Let's say last year, your 2017, your total net income profit on your P&L statement was $10,000. All right, because it happens that the money you're trying to get in West Atlanta totals a yearly debt service of $7,000. All right, so we already know that you already have the capacity to service our loan. All right, anything else you do is just gravy on that. And that's what the banks like too. Now, if it was just the opposite of that, where your net profit was $7,000 and the new debt service is going to be 10, there's a gap of $3,000. So now you got to show your projections. What are you going to be doing in your company that will assure you to get an increase in your revenue first, that will end up having you have a profit of over $10,000 more in terms of net income level. And so the first thing that we will look for is you already have the capacity to service the debt. Second thing we look for is the credibility of your projections. Are they realistic? You know, projections you actually put together now. And so that's the second thing we look for. All right? Now some financial institutions, they don't even go that far. They look at your last 2 or 3 financial statements. You didn't cut the mustard, it's declining. Okay, automatically. It's not, they don't ask you for projections and that kind of thing, because they just go by what you're currently doing. So be aware of that. Now, for a startup operation, it's how realistic are the sales. This is what Mark is doing. You know, can help you out with industry standards. So we have a list of already industry standards. If your cost of goods sold should be 25%, and you say you got 15%, we say, how you come with 15%? You say, well, I got to hook up now. No, you don't have to hook up. You think you might have to hook up. But 10 times out of 10, if you're in a certain industry, your cost of goods sold ratio, expense ratio is going to pretty much match the industry standards. It's not going to be 10 or 15 points lower normally, unless you really have some kind of connection thing you got going on with a supplier that can be documented like that. So we look for realistic information. And so that's why it's always important to get with someone who already knows those projections, what's realistic. And the other thing we look for would be realistic revenue projections. I've seen so many packages where a person comes out the first year operation and make $1 million. Okay, so the analysis part of it and the narrative, you got to explain to us what was the process you used to come with that $1 million revenue stream.
This Saturday
So that would consist of you looking at, number one, breaking down your yearly revenue to a monthly basis, on a monthly basis to a weekly basis, on a weekly basis to a daily basis, and that would allow you to identify how many people have to come to your business or contact you, and what's the average ticket sale. That lets us know how many people you're going to need to be coming to you on a daily basis to have $1 million. And then you're going to say, well, is that realistic? But that's the thought process that goes in there. People who want to start a business, they're impressed by the fact they do $1 million. That sounds good. I'm doing $1 million first year, second year, I'm doing $3 million. But is that realistic? Okay? You know, when you go through the math of how many people has to come to your operation to support your business, those are realistic figures. So that's important. And then everything has to flow. and my worship, I tell everybody this, is that everything has to flow. So if you tell me, hello. So if you say that, if you tell me on the source and use statement, the form you use, we identify all the sources of I'd say that of money that being injected into your business, like Invest Atlanta, could be some equity money, could be some bank finance, maybe an SBA 7-day loan kind of thing going on, you know. So, and you tell me on that source and use statement that you're going to put in the 20% equity required style to put, let's say a project costs $100,000. Now let's say that means you're going to have to put in $20,000, right? And you say you're going to put that into the business. Now we get your personal financial statement, so we're looking for your money on hand, money, checking account, savings account, retirement fund, and all that all together equals $10,000. But you tell me you're going to put in $20,000. It don't flow. So we don't even take the application. That's one of the other ways. What money? I got this real estate. When you sell it, come back to me. Because real estate has to be what? You gotta liquidate it. You gotta sell it. And so then you put your money on the personal financial statement. So everything flows like that. So some people don't understand that. Now the other thing I think is a big problem I've seen, especially with startups too, is they ask for working capital. Now on the source and use statement, you may have down, you need working capital, let's say you need $40,000 of working capital. And you put something in once, put something in that kind of thing. Now I get your 12-month cash flow statement, and oh my God, that's showing you don't need any money. You're showing the very first operating month, you making a profit. All through the whole year, you haven't shown how you need any working capital at all. All right, people they say, well, I'm successful, I'm looking pretty good. No, you're not. Because you ask for $40,000 of working capital, which is an injection into the company to help you cover some of your expenses, you know, when you get operating. Normally you're gonna have a break-even point. Maybe break-even point might be 6 months, might be 7 months, might be 3 or 4 months. But the break-even point, you go back, instead of first month, you're gonna lose $5,000. The second month, you're gonna use 4. Third month, you're gonna lose 3, you know, and maybe 1 the fifth one. You add all that up, and maybe that figure comes out to be $15,000. All right, so that $15,000 is now documented as a working capital you need, not the $40 or $50 or $70,000 that you projected on there, you know, and also not going in salaries for staffing for a year and working capital you're asking the lender to give you. That's not going to happen. And the other thing is that working capital has no collateral base. So if you're asking for a whole lot of working capital, there's nothing to secure that in terms of the collateral prospects. So those are some of the things. But the main thing I want to emphasize right now, Mark, is that everything you give us kind of works together. It has to flow.
You put the next load off, you go, my stuff flow.
And see, if you know that can put you far ahead of the game in terms of knowing what you're doing with your information. You know, and nobody's impressed by exaggerated revenue. Because the startup business, you have to document and be realistic about what you're putting out there. You know, so we come with those, especially those high figures like that, it can be documented. And it's always best to it was the old expression, you want to under plan and over deliver.
Under promise.
Under promise.
Right. Was it?
Under promise.
Under promise, right. Over deliver, yeah. So you want to, and that's good for your financial picture too. You know, so if you hit the mark, you can go greater than that. Now, I'll mention this too. Now, a lot of people would like to. They don't want to borrow money, which I understand. And I don't like businesses that really want to borrow all the money. They put in 10%, they got borrowed 90%. I got to myself. But at the same time, what you want to do is realize that it's easier to get money from a startup position when you get ready to start the business than is if you have already started the business and your financial stuff is in the tank, not making any money. Now you want to try and get some money. I always tell people, even though you got money, all right, you want to leverage. You can leverage some money, and if you hit your mark right on the head, take that money, pay a loan off, go about your business. But if you go out here, I talk to people quite frequently. You know, they put 50,000. They got all the pension fund cashed in, 401k, savings, put $70,000 into the business because they didn't want to go into debt. All right, and didn't hit their sale marks. So now they're trying to figure out a way to make it happen. And the credit cards over here, you know, their personal credit report is in the tank. The credit cards is maxed out, you know, because they put all this money, all their own money and credit into the business. What you want to do really, you want to see if you can leverage money from like an Invest Atlanta or another institution, all right, and you have realistic sales figures, but you think maybe I can probably even do better than that. And if you can, as I mentioned, you still got your money. You didn't put all your money into the business. You just pay that loan off and go about your business. But people think just the opposite. They think I got money, let me put it in myself, and that's okay if you hit it just right. If everything just happens just right, that's going to be fantastic. What if you don't? And the people I've met are the people who didn't hit it. And I'm going to say this story too, people who waited for the Atlanta streetcar. That was going to be the saving force for businesses in the Auburn Avenue, Edgewood, the streetcars coming. All these people are going to be coming down here, you know what I mean? So the two people I came in contact with, both had made the mistake of going ahead and leasing their business. I think one was on the Lucky Street area, one was on Edgewood. Leasing the space. One paid $20,000 in rent, the other one paid like $17,000 in rent. They never opened.
Oh, wow.
Never opened.
The streetcar took too long to get
They
started.
were waiting. Well, I don't know what they were waiting on. The first mistake they made was the assumption that the streetcar was going to be bringing all these folks. But they weren't, even that had happened, they weren't ready. They never got all the money they needed to actually open the business.
Wow.
So they were thinking, well, it's going to be so great here, but I just need to lock this thing down. And then I'll be able to get my money, and everything will be great. But imagine that, you spend, and that landlord is happy. Landlord got $20,000. Had to do anything. You never even went in there to do anything. $20,000, you know what I mean? And you got some liability too. I mean, you liable for that lease. It's going to be 3-year, 5-year lease. You know, you might decide, he or she might decide to let you out of it, but you know, on paper, you stuck. Illegally, you have to be responsible for paying that money on that lease. So, you know, so part of my application, I go through the application process of leasing. I say, I don't want to have a lease, signed lease from you if you start a little more of a term sheet kind of thing. But street address, how long the lease is going to be for, any type of tenant allowance. The tenant allowance can act as a source of funds available in terms of funding a particular project. But just some general information that you can identify with in terms of giving us an idea about the location in general. So those are some of the things that we look at just in terms of general information and some things that persons should be aware of before they actually go out and do certain things, especially committing on your financing before you know you can actually get all your financing in place. You don't want to lease a facility unless you already know you got all your financing, all your ducks in a row, basically, to make that happen.
So I'm going to let them ask some questions here in a minute, but let's talk about Invest Atlanta. You have a number of different loan programs, and I think sometimes when people come in, they see that little chart you got, which one do I fall in. Let's talk about money, but different types of money. Why, this program, that program. What does Invest Atlanta have to offer?
Yeah, so we got let's see, it's about 5 or 6 programs right now. And so I've been blessed, except for the first one, to create all the funds myself. since I've been there.
That's why once again,
I've been there. Yes, I've been there for a while now, you know. But the first one I mentioned would be the Business Improvement Loan Fund program. So the Business Improvement Loan Fund program is geared towards certain low-lying census tract areas in the city of Atlanta. And it's also developed for you as a commercial property owner as well. And so that program, I just got the approval from City Council. It was a $50,000 maximum direct loan program. The City Council increased it to $100,000. So if you are a business operator or if you are a commercial property owner, just trying to renovate that building or want to back commercial property, we can help you with the financing up to $100,000. And the funds can be used to help you in addition to acquisition of property renovation, equipment, furniture, fixtures, up to $20,000 available in working capital for that, and also inventory. That's the business loan. So again, I get areas like downtown Auburn Avenue, Edgewood, areas to the south of 5 Points downtown, in that corridor of Campbellton Road, East Atlanta, Hollowell, Bankhead, Vine City, the Avenue corridor by the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. That's all part of the eligible areas. And then we also have a program in connection with that too, called a participation loan program that allows us to go up to 10% of the total project cost. Right now we're trying to limit that about maybe $150,000. We just made a loan to a company. The total project cost would go up to $2 million, and we're able to work with this company. A second loan made with this company back for $150,000. And we're taking the second position behind our lender. So all of our money is listed as gap and subordinated debt finance. So we always encourage everybody here to be able to go to the bank and get all the money you need. You know, that's good. Okay, but if you need some additional money, we can't get all the money you need from the bank. These programs are set up by the city of Atlanta to make that happen. So when I first started the program in 81, working with the program in the city of Atlanta, the loan max was $15,000. And max, as I mentioned, up to $150,000. So we got to look at the gap for that particular situation. And the interest rate is going to be from 2% to about 5%. If you buy commercial property, if you renovate commercial property as a property owner, we try to set that at 2%. If you're a small business operator, it's going to be around between 3 and 5%. It's a fixed rate, no prepayment penalty. You know, you actually give you start. Y'all know about This Is It restaurant? So you financed the first This Is It restaurant on Campbellton Road back in the 80s. He's got on now to kind of do what he's doing. I think he's doing about $10 million in revenue now, several locations around Metro Atlanta. And then we financed the first Wendy's franchise back in the early 80s. When the person named Howard Spiller, he went to Wendy's, and Wendy's gave him the right to actually set up Wendy's, establish Wendy's in any city he wanted to establish it, anywhere in America.
Wow.
He was in the Michigan area. He liked Atlanta, so he was at the country of Atlanta, and we were kind of work with him on several of his 5 locations. Willie Watkins Funeral Home over there in West End. So we worked with him over the years, several loans on that. And he's got about 5 different mortuaries.
One of the things you're touching on, and I didn't plan on talking about it, but so when they come to you one time, you continue to work with them. You said over the years, maybe they get their business going, they need more, they come back, you develop a relationship. So it's not just one time.
It's the same with Supreme Fish of Life was another one, North Champlain. Supreme Fish of Life, we've done about 4 with him. And the latest one right now, we want to do, get a question?
Yeah, I had a question about the Wendy's rights. So say if somebody has the rights from a franchise that's already known for being successful, is well known, like what type of criteria on the application do they need to be able to secure funds from you guys?
Well, we can do it if it's a startup. We finance franchisees all the time.
Right. So if it's like a well-known franchise established.
Right. Now, I would say this well-known franchises will be better than maybe a startup franchisor. Right. They don't have a track record.
Right.
But we can still look at it, you know, and make a decision on it.
Right, so like say it's like a Marriott or like a hotel chain.
Yeah, we can look at that too. I mean, that would combine that with some other financing. You know, we work very closely with some of the SBA 504 venture program, which is a 50-40-10 breakdown. Matter of fact, we financed a building on Broad Street. As a matter of fact, the total project cost was about $3.8 million, and we brought the helping people bank the table at the CDC, and we put in $100,000 in one of our loan programs to sort of make that happen. And the good thing is that they sold the building there. They sold it for $7.2 million. Yeah, so it's the only program we have with SBA that allows you to be a business operator and also speculative investor at the same time. As long as you occupy 51% of the space, you potentially qualify for that. So I would encourage people, if you have a position that to be able to buy a building that you can occupy, but you need maybe have additional space in there, you can rent it out, another source of revenue. And I always encourage business owners to look at real estate. If you're successful to a business, you want to look at real estate. The problems that I have with McDonald's, you know.
Right.
Basically, they own a lot of real estate.
Yes, anybody else, I've been asking the question, anybody got a question for him?
I have a question. So, if you are someone that does not have any collateral, if for someone whose credit is not really that great, it's decent, but if all the traditional, I'm familiar with the SBA model and I get that, but I heard through the grapevines that there's a microfunding model that's coming out for the next generation of millennials who usually don't have collateral, who do not own real estate, who are still struggling to even find banks that'll allow them to open a business bank account without having to pay the minimum fee. So what would that amount look like, and is there a grace period of non-payment that's required, and if so, what is, how long is that for?
Well,
So
let me finish the other program, and I go back to what you're talking about.
Okay.
So we got the business people loan fund. Oh, let me say this now. I'm giving a workshop in my office on November 28th at 5 o'clock, and really the number that you would like to attend that particular session. It's a contact. We'll call 404-614-8294. You're going to talk to Cynthia Freeman, and she'll reserve a seat for yourself. Tell her that now when you call her, she'll probably tell you it's already booked out. About 100 people already.
That's what happened to me.
Okay.
Everything's booked up.
So now what you're going to do? So now what you're going to do? You're going to call back. You can tell Cynthia I met with you today at this event. She already has it on my calendar. I was here, and I personally invited you to attend. We already know that although it's always booked up, 100 people sign up, 125 I think already signed up. 50% will show up.
Can you repeat the number again?
Yeah, 404-614-8294. Yeah, and that's Cynthia Freeman on that. Now, back to your question. So we got the business, so the workshop that going on, I'm going to all those programs in more detail, how they work, how they operate, the application process, the Q&A session as well on that. And so the second program is the Phoenix Fund. The Phoenix Fund, unlike the first one I mentioned, the Business People Loan Fund program, is actually citywide. Anywhere in the city of Atlanta, you can be financed. And Buckhead, Midtown, Auburn Avenue, Edgewood, Summerhill, Vine City, doesn't make any difference on that. And so that program is a third of financing, not to exceed $100,000. And the next program we did would be the apartment zone. And the apartment zone is, the city of Atlanta was designated apartment zone city back around 1995, 96. And was issued $100 million in financing. And so fast forward to 2009, the city said they had $40 billion and that got out to the apartment zone community. And so we were finally able to get $3 million of that, put the money out, that $3 million out 6 months, and now it evolves back into the loan fund, and we take those funds back in. So the apartment zone would be Auburn Avenue, Edgewood, ML King, from Laurie Boulevard to Northside Drive, anything around the Vine City, English Avenue corridor will be also included in the park zone areas. And so that's a goal. And also some parks around Grant Park also. So we can.
What the West End? West End?
Not for this one. The West End, all the two I mentioned before, the Business Improvement Loan Fund Program and the Phoenix Fund, are eligible for West End finance in the West End area. So that's two. So that's 1, 2, 3. Opportunity Loan Fund. We went to Atlanta City Council. The City Council gave us $1 million in the Opportunity Loan Fund for second-tier companies. So it's only for existing companies with track record. It's $100,000. Total project cost has to be at least $200,000. We can go up to 100. We can go give you $100,000 on that, and that can be used for acquisition, commercial property. That's eligibility all over the city. And though you have to be in a position to be able to hire 4 or 5 new managers, have in place a friends in a retirement package, health insurance coverage in that program. Now, back to her point though. So I'm preparing legislation now. I just told Mark about that today. I can't tell y'all that. You brought it up. So we're gonna reprogram as a pilot project $200,000 from the Opportunity Loan Fund, which is general fund money, to establish the Atlanta Forward Loan Fund, which is a fund that will be geared toward incubator and co-work space facilities that have programs in place. All right, and we're looking at that being a loan between $5,000 and $20,000 at a 2% interest rate. And the other thing, I guess, is that there's no prepayment penalty on that. And it's also got a 6-month deferment. So the first payment will be due in 6 months.
Wow.
All right. Now we're looking at working with people already in these facilities, or you graduated. Let's say you went to one like we downtown here. They had a graduation last year, so you graduated from this particular facility. We can get it. And I think in our letter we're going to have in our list, checkout list, where we're asking for a letter of support from an institute saying you did go through all of the requirements, program, and that kind of thing. And so that's a new one. So we're hoping that's going to be successful, and we could probably get some additional money from the city of Atlanta to do that. But we'll be able to make that available to people within these facilities, and it will be citywide. So it's not just in the low-lying income areas; it'll be in some other areas that might be needed in terms of that situation. And let's see what else. So we got that. We got the street vending program, which if you have carts, if you have any carts, we're going to have an operating cart. Any cart owners in the room, carts, like these city carts, around a model station, it's valuable, like that. Anyway, so the planning department has a plan in place to help to finance that. City of Atlanta has to set up another program that would be assist you in buying carts. But I mean, I know one person, he operates about 15 carts. It's a business. So he has people working his carts. So the program I designed for the city and that is we go up to 50% of the cost of the car, which is, let's say it's $6,000, not to exceed $3,000 a month. So the car costs you $6,000. You put in 3, and we give you the 3 as a no interest loan with a 6-month deferment for the first payment is due, and there's no closing costs, no application fees, none of that going on. All right, so that's an option, but some people might have an interest in that particular area. I think that's all.
They had to come to your workshop.
Yeah, this one coming to workshop now, I'll definitely cover that with you.
But to touch on her question, some of the micro lenders that I'm familiar with allow you to use the equipment that you're purchasing as collateral against the loan.
Right.
Matter
Matter of fact, we do that. Matter of fact, answer the question too, and you're right about that. So basically, we take a lien on the assets you want to acquire, you might already have. And you don't have a home, we don't really take a home normally anyway, you know, in terms of collateral. You know, the banks might do that, depending on how big your project is, the bank will probably do something like that sometimes. But we don't take that, we'll take basic business assets, equipment, furniture, fixtures, that kind of thing. You're gonna be buying equipment without money, that's gonna be you a UCC filing on the equipment that you're gonna be getting from us. So that's the way it's going to go.
Yeah, I know, our time, we're about
Yes.
there. Yeah, we're about there. Hopefully you got good information.
Absolutely.
You wrote down a number of how to attend his work, and believe me, you're gonna have to tell Cynthia that he told you. Okay? she guards that. She's very strict about it, but Lonnie's been at it a long time, and that's why he and I have a good relationship. A lot of times when they come into his office, they don't look right. He sends them to me because I know how to package, how to help you tell that good funding story. And those projections are key. I got people telling me, I'm gonna make you're right. The number is I'm gonna make $1 million. Some apple pies? Yeah, but my point is that I try to help you. Some people like the way I work, some people don't, but I just hit you upside the head. No, you're not. Questions?
How do we get in touch with you?
I have a card. I work with the Urban League. We do training, one-on-one coaching. And we get funded by funding institutions to do what we do. And so I'll give you a card before we leave, but you can go to the Urban League website. We do free training. That's how I met this young man here 7 years ago. He was in a class, and the Atlanta Business Journal called me one day and said they want me to start putting an online, website. They want me to start working with it. And wanted to talk to our web developer. And this guy called. Okay, and show you. But I'll give you my card. I have cards here. And that's something else. Before I wrap up, there are a lot of resources available to you to learn this. But you gotta go. You're not gonna find a list. You gotta start asking. The Urban League, SCORE, SBA. There's so many organizations that I can sit here and name that have programs that will help you figure out how to get in a business. But you gotta take advantage of it.
Let me say this, Mark. When I started doing this in 79, 81 with the city's programs, we were it. See, in 1981, the prime rate was over 18%. You got a loan prime plus 2 or 3, you were paying 21, 22% interest rate. Our rate back then was 7%. But we were it in Metro Atlanta and probably in Georgia. Nobody else had money like we had. Back then. And so today is the best time to go into business. Like Mark said, you got all these resources, not just technical assistance providers, but money sources. To me, if you're serious about going to business today, there's really no excuse for you not realizing your business dreams. It's the best time to be in business, and you got so many resources, like what Mark is doing here, excellent job over the years, I call him President Obama, same right-hand man. Yeah, he had a picture of him with President Obama, at the White House.
Green tea, right?
But so, let's take advantage of the opportunity that you have before you today to make those dreams become reality.
Me and my colleagues are in the film business, and of course it's growing year over year and that kind of thing.
We got a program. We got the Creative Arts Fund. Just started. Shiaki Jones in my office is the point person in that. That just got launched, I think last week or so. I haven't mentioned that one. And she's heading that. You can call the 404-880-4100.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
404-880-4100. Ask for Shiaki. Japanese name, Shiaki Jones. And she can help you. That's Miss Jones. She can help you with that one. We got $1.1 million from the city of Atlanta to help budding artistic people, film direction, movies, that kind of thing, to make that happen. So I know she got her first application in, I believe, last week. Yeah, but she can help you with that process.
Shiaki Jones.
Curious, so I think you mentioned you don't do any kind of collateral loan.
No, all of our loans are collateralized. Yeah. We take the existing assets in your business.
Okay, but like, would you take real estate?
Well, if you're buying real estate, we'll end up taking a second.
Are you talking about if you own real estate?
Own real estate?
Only free and clear, would you, I guess, provide a loan against property,
Can they use
land?
real estate as collateral?
Yeah, if we're financing the real estate, we'll take it as collateral.
No, she's talking about that. Say she owned real estate, free and clear.
Yeah.
You know, maybe been, grandmother may have left or something. Can they use that as collateral against a home?
It all depends what your request is. If you're requesting, let's say you're requesting a lot of working capital, and you find out there's no collateral, not enough collateral in your business, you have some.
Like for instance, I'm a real estate developer, so if I have property that I own free and clear, would you finance, instead of going to traditional banks to get a line of credit, would you loan against that property?
Well, the money we give you will be for a business activity. In other words, if you are establishing a real estate office, not your development project, but let's say you want your office is trying to be set up, we can assist you with that in terms of to take collateral. If you find a building for your real estate practice, we can do that. So the development part would be, we do have another part of our company, Investment Atlanta, has a capacity to work with developers in certain areas around the city of Atlanta. That would be a separate transaction from the small business lending area.
Yeah, that was my next question. Are you providing any funding, I guess, to help preserve affordable housing?
Yeah, we have a separate housing division in our community development department in Investment Atlanta. You go to the website, I gave you the website already.
Yeah, they offer
Yeah,
quite a bit. I brought him tonight just because of the small business thing, but Invest Atlanta actually has first-time home buyer. They have a lot of different programs. You really need to go to the site and explore everything they have to offer. He's a genius on the small business, but the film industry stuff, that's a whole other track they just started. And they're staying current. They have they're watching what's going on in the industry, and they're bringing in programs to help Atlantans take advantage of what's happening.
And then I think our mayor, keeps down the bottom, she's very committed toward low moderate income housing in these areas, especially around the Advanced City Avenue corridor. There's a lot of synergy taking place in the Advanced City Avenue corridor in that area. And then we've got our tax allocation districts, TAD money.
That's a whole other conversation.
That's the right time over there. That's a whole other meeting going on.
Yeah.
But there's also a team, and you go to our website, and you can look that up in terms of just knowing who the players are, and that they're more than happy to talk to you about that kind of development.
Can they say that Lonnie said it?
Yeah, tell them I said it.
We got one that here today.
All right.
With the interest that this city does have in English Avenue and Vine City, is there any type of emphasis to develop certain types of business in that area, specifically technology businesses? When I think of where the technology businesses of Atlanta exist, it's north side. It dominates in that area. As the economy, develops and blossoms in the south side, the west side, you mentioned Auburn Avenue, but specifically around the stadium in that area with everything that's occurring, is there anything related to the technology businesses, like the gentleman that was sitting up there with you?
Yeah, I think so. A lot of that would be based in my mind where it relates to the individual person and their business. For example, nothing's. For example, if you want to do that in the Advanced City Avenue corridor, programs we have and help them do that. And so we encourage the technology field. We have a person in London in our office. She's working with a lot of technology-based organizations and programming, and that I would like to maybe have contact with her and what she's doing And I know she's open-minded in terms of creating some spaces around a general area around there as well in the technology field. And technology is definitely an area that we want to see more happen in Atlanta.
Could you repeat her name? I'm sorry.
Yeah, Noelle London.
Thank you.
Well, we want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. We definitely want to thank Dash Digital Studios for coming out and covering this event for us once again. We'd like to thank Rock Drinks for coming out. He drove all the way from Alabama to come cover this event. So we definitely want to thank him for being our drink sponsor again for this discussion. And once again, thank all of you for coming out on this very, very cold night, unfortunately. But we want to invite everyone to get an Atlanta Business Journal. We have the magazines out here, so please.
And I'm in one of them.
But we want everyone to get a copy of the Atlanta Business Journal on their way out tonight. And also, if you guys took any pictures here tonight, or if you put any pictures out on social media, please hashtag it influencer365. And then that way, what we'll do is randomly, I guess.
Yeah, so basically, we're going to be looking at the pictures or images that have the highest engagement. We're going to give you a free business spotlight on the Atlanta Business Journal site, and then also give you a free digital ad that will run for 30 days on our site as well. So